when you talk specifically about Africa and working with kids in Africa, there is this played out trope of the starving kids in Africa that I think sometimes miss the opportunity to share more about the human, the kid. So with your work with these kids that you get to see and talk to and listen to, and they share with you their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, what is often missed about those stories that inspire you so much and keeps you going?
Non-profit organizations that I've seen, they like to pick out the negative things, because that's how, when or you'll be like, oh, if I show this picture when a kid is sad, the kid is naked, doesn't have anything to eat, you'll be like, oh, someone who feels like, oh, let's give some money to help. But that's not how it is. Africa is such a beautiful continent. We have everything, But when people look out for the negatives only, it doesn't give out an entire picture of the country or the continent. We have everything that we need to be successful. Don't look out for only the negative things. Africa, you can drop something on the ground and it grows back. You can't find that anywhere. We have lakes, we have rivers, we have mountains. We have all that we need to be able to make the best thing in the world. So to me, that's one thing I see with some organization. Not all of them, but there's so much that you can show the world that is beautiful about Africa. And that's what people are missing. They only look on the negative things, That's not the only way of raising fans. You don't need to show only those negative things. There are different ways of raising fans. You find the right people who believe in your cause, and they'll give you money without showing them a picture of a naked kid.
Mr. Azira, welcome to EmpathyLed, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Of course. I've been looking forward to this conversation. You are somebody that I hold into very, very high regard. And every time we have a conversation, I always feel super inspired by, your drive, your motivation, and the contribution you're trying to make in the world. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I think you mostly do the job. You mostly do the work of inspiring other people. So you're a great example as well. So thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. So I want my audience to get a sense of who you are and the things that have shaped you into the person that you are. And I thought of hopefully what's going to be a fun question for you. And the question is, if you were now writing your autobiography, what would be the key chapters you will want to include to make sure the people reading it really get a sense for who you are and the path that has led you here?
Yeah, thanks you. Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question. Yeah. So to me, if I have to write my autobiography, the first thing is it's family, the goal setting, which is the drive, the fire in you, because that's a very big push for me. And it's my faith as well, and then at the end, I think, it's having that belief, that, believing in yourself, believing in your abilities I think it's really, really important.
Okay. I want to dive a little bit deeper into what will probably inevitably be the first chapter, which is your upbringing. Give us a sense of your upbringing so we can have a little bit more context about you.
Yeah, so talking about family, my dad used to play soccer as well. So I think that was one of the first things that really made me admire the game. And I was like, as a kid, you always want to be like your dad. You see him as a hero, you're like, oh, my dad plays soccer, I want to be like him, So that was really big for me. But, besides that, it's just the environment that I grew up in. Like every kid, we knew each and everyone in the neighborhood. We went out and played soccer from morning till evening, And even after you go to school, but at the moment you come home, you put off your uniform, you're out there in the streets playing. So that was a very huge impact on me, and that way, not being in a controlled environment, I think it plays a big role in everyone who's decision making, and building your creativity, and having that open mind to be able to learn from other people, but also being able to teach what you've learned to other people as well. So that has grown into me to be able to to become a coach, to be a parent, and and my playing career. So I'm truly thankful to my upbringing. Like, to me, those are the best things to me that I enjoyed, growing up in Uganda, which is not the case which I see in the US, where everything is controlled, being in a academy environment whereby they tell you what to do and not what to do, when to train, not to train. So those things, I feel like they play such a big role in every athlete's upbringing. So to me, I think that's one of the most important things, and it played a big role in my life up to now.
Yeah, no, I love that. I always think about the things about growing up in Africa that the media or people that are portraying Africa always get wrong, or the things that are not part of the story that are very important. And this idea of creativity is one of the things for me that is not often shared, but that is such an important part about growing up in Africa. For me, the way I talk about it is when you grow up in an environment where resources are scarce, where um, there are many constraints, then you have to be creative. And I love this idea that you added on top of this idea of constraint, which is there's really not many rules. It's a nice juxtaposition of being in an uncontrolled environment, but also having to be resourceful because of the environment within which you are, both of which I think are super super important when it comes to bringing out the curiosity and the creativity in a child.
They play such a big role, man, because and even besides that, because you talked about having limited resources, you know we get to appreciate the little things. You make your ball out of your plastic bags, and when you get a real ball, you even it's precious. You take care of the thing. You're like, this is amazing. So, like, when you go home and you give a kid a pair of boots, because, like, I didn't grow up with boots, and I had to save my own money to be able to buy my first pair of boots. But at first we used to play bare feet, and you knock your nails out, but it doesn't matter, you still go there. Because if you're playing up top, because this is what happened to me. Like, I hit my nail, like one of my nails fell out, and I'm like, I still want to play. So instead of playing in the midfield, I ended up going in goal. I'm like, I want to be in goal. At
Mm,
least I still want to be here. I still want to be with my friends out there in the streets playing. Because, like, when the car would come, you'd stop playing, the car goes, and then you play again.
yeah.
So it taught us so much, to appreciate the little things, and that's where you get to practice gratitude, and being able to help other people who are in need, because what it meant to you. So being able to help someone else, it goes a long way, because you'd be like, I've been there. This kid needs this. And imagine if you give him a pair of boots, you give him a soccer ball, you give him a jersey, it goes a long way. Kids are happy just giving them a t-shirt.
Of course.
So
And the same is true in every country, honestly. Like, kids want and need very little, right? They want their parents to be around, they want a grown-up to look after them, to make them feel safe. But beyond those little things, they want face time with parents, quality time with the loved ones. But beyond that, really, like, regardless of where in the country a kid is born, like, kids really want very little. Their life is about exploration, curiosity, creativity, being playful. And all we have to do as grown-ups is create an environment where they can explore in a safe and creative way. So I completely agree. So soccer, and you and I both come from the motherland, and I know growing up how much soccer plays a role and how many kids grow up with the dream and the aspiration to one day become a professional soccer player. And to become a professional athlete in Africa or anywhere in the world is a dream that very few people get to accomplish. What is it about you that made yours possible?
it's knowing people, and knowing people, being in the right place at the right time, and being able to, because there's so many factors that can, so many facets that contribute to being a professional soccer player. And you can be like, okay, I'm talented, okay, I'm a hard worker, okay, I'm disciplined, okay, but at the end of the day, you need someone who believes in you. you know, because being confident is really, really important. Contributes a lot to to your talent and the way you play. But even if you could have all those, because there's so much talent in Africa and back home, so there's so much talent, but very few people can really make it. The competition is pretty high, so you need to have the right people around you. People who look out for your who look out for your success. Because me in that moment, a friend recommended me to be able to come to the US, you know. So, because my dream was always to go to Europe, to go play in Europe, but it didn't work out, So, where they say that, shoot for the stars, so maybe
Yeah.
you land on the clouds. So
Yes.
I always wanted to go to Europe, but my friend recommended me, and then a coach from the US came and watched me play, you
Wow.
know. But if I didn't have that friend to recommend me to another coach, I wouldn't have been here. Maybe I would have been in another place. So you need to be in the right place at the right time, and you need to have the right people around you who want to see you successful. Because there's so many people going to break you down. Because I remember there's a coach who told me, "Oh, Michael, you're not good enough. You can't play on my team." I was like, "Wow, that was hurting." I was young, but I was like, I need to quit soccer because this guy was the best in the country
Of
in terms of
course.
developing talent. And if he tells you not good enough, you can't make it, you know. But that's the thing that, trying to live in a life whereby you try to impress other people, that's why we get hurt most of the times. Because, like, we admired this coach. He was the best in the country. He had so many talented soccer players. But if I tell you how the story played out, I found another coach. He told me, Michael, don't listen to what he tells you. That's his that's that's his opinion. Don't let his opinion define you.
Yeah.
I see that you're talented, that you're good enough. All you need to do is just change a few things in the way you play. So he started limiting my touches on the ball. He told me, Michael, just play
Mm.
2, 3 touches. That coach didn't see that in me. That other coach was focused on other players, didn't have time for me. But this coach found me and he's like, hey, Michael, you just need to change this ABC. And that changed the entire trajectory of my success,
Wow.
you know. And so that's the thing, like, you can be so talented, you can be so good, you can be all these things, but if you don't have the right people around you, it's very difficult to be successful. If you don't find people who believe in you, if you don't in the because, like, some players, there's, like I say, there's a ton of talent back home, but are they in the right environment?
Mm.
Do they surround themselves with the right people? What do they get involved in? Is there someone looking out for you to be successful? So those things are really important. It doesn't matter if you play like Cristiano Ronaldo. You
Yeah.
need people who believe in you. It's very, very important in anyone who's to be successful. You
Yeah.
need those people in your life. If you
Yeah.
don't have that, it doesn't matter.
Man, every time I talk to you, I one of the things that I really, really love is the way you talk about success, right? I think there is this narrative around success that comes to the boldest, the bravest, the most talented, the most hardworking, and the most disciplined. And the thing that seems to always be missing are the components that you just added, which is you need luck. The role of luck in success is always so underplayed. We want to put
Yeah,
these heroes on a pedestal and see how through sheer determination, hard work, and willpower they were able to break down every obstacle in their way to become successful. But like luck and timing plays such an important role. And then the other thing
yeah,
that is so underplayed is that there is not such a thing as self-made. Like it doesn't exist. We all
no,
stand on the shoulders of giants, on the shoulders of people that came before us, on the shoulders of people that believed in us, that saw something in us, that gave us a chance, that supported us, that gave us their love, their care, their unconditional support. And without those people, we wouldn't be here. And you are always so careful when somebody asks you about your own success to make sure that you introduce those two underappreciated factors of success, which is luck and other people's help, right? Other people's help in this thing. And it's so important. We need more of this narrative of success in order for people to understand really just what it takes. Because when you are talented, hardworking, and disciplined, and things are not going your way, you feel crushed. You feel
Yes.
inadequate because you feel like, what is it about me? No, sometimes you need that little bit of luck, that little bit of timing. You need to meet the right person that can open a door for you and allow you to go in. And I think for me, when I think about all the work that you are doing back home with your foundation, I think for me that is the biggest ingredient. Is you serve as the missing ingredient, the luck. You create that luck moment for those kids, and then you create that support, that person that sees something in their moment to add to their natural skills, talent, ability, drive, and passion, to fulfill their dreams.
Okay.
So I just mentioned the foundation. Tell us a little bit about the foundation then, and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so like I said in the beginning, man, it's growing up back home, you have limited resources. It's growing up, I've always had a dream, be like, hey, we need to find a place where we can go play, whereby it's just kids, you know. You don't have to stop the game when the car comes, and you need to continue to play, be out there, play free. But we didn't have it, and with the foundation, the way it started, and it's through someone who, like I said, you need people in your in like someone who say only quality people, find quality people who can build you, can challenge you. So I met someone who took care of me when my family was struggling a little bit, when they couldn't pay for my school, and he took a chance on me, and he gave me an opportunity to go back to school. And my parents didn't know about it, they didn't know about him for a while, but they just saw me going to school. And so I managed to get the scholarship, and he looked at it to make sure that it's legit. He gave me an opportunity. He bought my tickets because my parents couldn't afford it anyways.
Wow.
So after I finished school, I went back home, and I asked him, how can I ever repay you back? This guy's name is Mr. Ken Davis. He's such a huge pillar in my life. And so I went back to him, and I asked him, how can I ever repay you back? He told me, you don't have to pay me back, instead just go do it for another kid. Find another kid and you pay for his school. And so that's how the foundation started. We started by creating a little tournament where we find kids and talk to them, share our stories. And because, playing in the US and playing back home with the national team gave me this good, like, great platform that, I could use to reach out to several people and meet a ton of people. So going back home, kids want to be like you. They be like, "Oh, Mike, I want to be like you. I want to be like you." I'm like, "Hey, it's great, but you can even be better than me, because there's so many opportunities in the world that you can tap into, through education, and that way you open so many doors." But that's the thing we struggle with back home. Some kids, they want to be like you, but they don't understand what you've been through.
Yeah.
So with our foundation, those are some of the things we want to focus, teach character development, nutrition, education, and use sports to bring in as many kids as we can, so we can find a way to inspire them to reach their goals as well. So like I said earlier, with the limited resources, which taught me so much about, gratitude and being appreciative of all the little things. So our foundation is based on gratitude, being thankful, trying to pay it forward, you know, because whatever I have, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't some people put their blocks for me to step on to go up. So you're trying to create these blocks for other people, for other kids back home, so that they can have the opportunity to be able to be successful as well, even be much better than me, because there's always new things coming up, so we want these kids to perform even better than me, or even better than other people. So we want to provide, for the foundation wanted to be the beacon of the community, whereby kids can come, read, study. We want to introduce a reading culture We want to help kids learn to read and write, but also play sports as well, because we have, in our facility, we have 2 soccer fields. There will be a library, there'll be a community center, there will be a main hall. We'll be doing some farming, we'll be growing our own food. So there'll be a lot of activities going on there. But the main thing we focus on is the education part, whereby what we do, we give out scholarships to kids who are in need and also have talent as well. So we go out in the community and we find these kids. We have coordinators back home who have done such a great job in finding these kids and evaluating them and meeting their guardians as well to see how we can support them. So we give them school supplies, tuition, meals, so that they can, because this is something that a meal is something that some people can take for granted, but some kids can't have access to a whole meal, or even 2 meals a day. So we find these kids and be like, how can we support you? How can we help you so you can achieve your goal? So our coordinators have done such a great job. We find kids who are, who really want to be in school, but they can't afford it. So we meet the guardians. We work together with the guardians, because you can't do this kind of work if you don't work with the people.
Of course.
Where if you can't work with their guardians or the parents. So we go out there and meet the parents. We talk to them. This is what we want to do. And the only thing we ask a student to do is to be able to maintain some grades, so that they can be able to, they have to be performing, like they have to show that they care about their education, by working hard in class, learning as much as they can, so that they can, so long as they give their best in school, that's what we ask them for, so that they can maintain their scholarship. So we focus on those things, but the foundation is just, it's great, but at the end of the day, it's what the impact it's doing to the kids or in the community, giving another kid an opportunity to go back to school, as like someone did it for me. So we're just trying to pass on what other people did for us, like you said, we stand on the shoulders of the giants. So
Yeah.
if you can be that giant for someone, why not? It's one of the best things in life, gives you so much joy, because a lot of people, they focus so much on their problems and they forget the person next to them, but just try it whereby you could just help someone else, your problems just disappear,
Mm.
because you're helping someone else achieve their goals, the smile, the joy that you give to them, your problems just disappear. And in that process as well, you find solutions to your problems as well.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, you and I, from the moment we were first introduced, there were so many similarities in our stories. I mean, the obvious one is that we are both from Africa and we both played soccer. But then the more we talk, the more I realized just how similar our stories were. That I too had to be in the right place at the right time to be afforded a scholarship to come study and play at the US. And I too went back to my benefactor and asked him how I could ever repay him, and he said, well, you just have to pay it forward. So this idea that the highest form of gratitude really is to pay it forward, which is a beautiful saying that you and your organization have that I love so much, which is, the highest form of gratitude is to pay it forward. And I think it's an idea that is so universal, because everyone, I don't care how rich, poor, not like, I don't care who you are, everyone has someone whose unconditional love and support and caring can only be repaid by paying it forward. And it's something that once you recognize that you stand on the shoulder of giants, that you've been afforded opportunities thanks to the generosity, the love, and the care to others, then you start looking for other ways to pay it forward. And to your point also earlier, that's also the way to find some fulfillment in your life, even when you feel like you have nothing to give. I love this idea that the moment you divert your attention from yourself to somebody else, your problem just melt away. It's such a powerful idea.
Yeah. It's amazing, because that's what I tell my students here. I tell them, what you do and who you are, they totally do two different things.
Mm,
What we do is we play soccer all day, we play all to do all that kind of stuff. But who you are is very important, and that's why you're here. You're here to get an education. That's one thing that will last with you forever. No one can ever take that away from you. Soccer can end the next day because that's what you do, but people will always remember who you are, what you do, what you did for them. So getting your education, investing in yourself, being able to pass on your skills to other people, that's what people always remember. So you need to differentiate that. You always have to ask yourself, what do I need to be remembered for? You know, you were in God gave you this opportunity to be in this spot, but what are you doing with it? You know, because He gives you the gift of talent, but at the end of the day, what are you doing with it? There's so many talented people. He could give the talent to someone else, but he gave it to you for a reason. So what are you doing? What are you doing with it? So it's good, I think, to go out there and build your own legacy and being able to support other people, because that's the way we can build a better community, an inclusive community that help each other out to grow that way.
Yeah. So then I have to ask, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh man, that's a good question. you know That's a good question. That's something to think about.
Of course.
But I want to be remembered as someone, who was always there to help if you need help, because people have helped me to get here. Why can't I do it for someone else? Someone who is humble, but someone who's also goal driven, someone who can get out of my way to support another kid. Those are things I want to be remembered for, because don't just remember me as someone, Michael played in MLS or that kind of stuff. So many people have played in MLS, but also I want mostly my kids, I want them to remember that, my dad was such a great inspiration to me. I live by example, try to teach them, pass on my skills to them, show them where I come from Uganda, tell them this is home, this is how we grow up. I want my kids to remember where we came from. So that is very important to me.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I think about soccer, I I see so many things I learned between those white lines that inform the decisions and the choices and the way I live my life. There were so many life lessons that I learned through sports that inform how I conduct business, inform the type of leader that I am, inform the choices that I make on a daily basis. What have been some of those lessons that you learned on the soccer field, that you learned being part of a team, that are now important lesson that you live by, and that now as a coach you try to pass on to the young players in your charge?
Like you said, soccer, to me, I pick on soccer because that's what I know. Uh, to me, it's a life lesson out there on the field. They teaches us so much on the field. It'd be like, it's if you don't if you only play on one side of the ball, you're done. You can't just play to attack, attack, attack. You have to play defense too. And to me, that's what makes some of the great players to being able to play on both sides of the ball. And the other thing too, you talked about decision making. You're out there on the field to serve your teammates. You're not out there playing by yourself or playing for yourself. You play for the team. The team is bigger than you. How can you use your abilities to make your teammate look good? How can I serve my teammates to perform the best way possible they can be? How can I pick up my teammates? So when I played, those are the goals I used to make it when I was playing. Like, hey, how can I help Junior be the best version of himself? If he makes a mistake, how can I cover him up? Instead of blaming and pointing fingers, because at the end of the day, you're one team. You blame him, but remember this other finger is pointing in you, so you're part of it as well. You're part of the problem. Now, how can you solve the problem together? So that is very important. You can apply that in your life. Why should you blame other people? And yet there is something you can do about a problem. It's being able to uplift each other in those hard moments. Because like you lose games, but at the end of the day, you be like, hey, we lose together, we win together. And then the other thing too is like effort has no bad day. In everything that you choose to do, give your best. If you're not going to do something, don't go there. If something you don't enjoy, don't waste your time doing it, because you're going to waste people's time. You won't get the best results you're looking for. So in everything that you choose to do, give it all. Give it all. Give it your best. Because that's very, very important. And that's how I applied in my life as well. Because as a coach, you wake up, you be like, How can I help my players? How can I prepare them to perform well on the field? I have to do research. I have to prepare sessions. And then the other thing I do is like sometimes it's like doing that extra work, go an extra mile, you know, because to me, there's like I said, there's so many great players out there on the field, but not everyone is willing to run an extra mile. So it's how they say when you go an extra mile, there's always more space.
Oof.
You know, so it's very, very important. Go do that extra mile, and that makes a huge difference in life, in soccer, in any sport. You know, when other people are going out to party, people are going out to drink and smoke, all that kind of stuff, go rest. Go prepare for the next day. Because the moment you engage into those things, you know, people can drink. I'm not against them or anything like that. People have that choice to do that. But it comes down to what you want to achieve in life. You know, does this help me get closer to my goals? So you got to make good choices, decision making on the field, off the field. Does this lead me to next to my goals or no? Does this help my teammate perform well? Does this help my team uh, defend better or create an opportunity to score? How do we recover the ball back? When you run that extra mile, you have more chance of uh, creating your own lack of winning the ball back to force the team into transition to win the ball to go forward. But if you think you're just going to hang around, be lazy, things are going to come to you, life doesn't work like that. So those are things I try to teach my kids, you know, and in most of the things that we need to work on, they're mostly under our control. You know, are you willing to do that extra work after training? You know, because the coach only gives you like, you know, I would say like 40%. You have to find the 60% for yourself. You know, do the extra work. You know, if it means putting in extra touches, do that. What do you need to work on? I need to work on, you know, crossing the ball. Like me, like I'd say, I need to work on my communication. I need to be better. I'll communicate the rules to the students. You know, what do I need to do? What information do I need to give to my kids? So I need to go do research on that. Listen to other coaches, how they communicate. So I try to teach these things to my kids because also I have so much to learn, you know, but, you know, so you need to have an open mind when you go out there on the field, but also off the field, because no one knows everything. You know, soccer is a continuous game of learning, and that is life as well.
Of
You know,
course.
that's why we go learn from other people, from other coaches, from other the CEOs, the presidents. What do they do well? You know, what do these leaders do so well? What do they don't do well? You know, so that, you know, you learn from both sides. But that comes to having an open mind, having, you know, the mindset of whereby, you know, I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
I'm here to learn that life is not yours alone. Life is here for you to serve.
Absolutely.
So that always plays in my mind. Always like, okay, what can I do to help my players be successful,
Yeah.
my teammate be successful, my wife to be successful, my kids to be successful. You know, my teammates or the people I work with in the office. How can I help them be successful? So there's so much it teaches about life. It's huge.
It's
So
huge.
but I'm thankful, you know, for the life has been great. The journey is great. So many lessons, you know, and I want to be able to pass those to my kids, my teammates, my players. Hopefully I can be that kind of leader, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So when you find yourself admiring another leader, what is the thing about other leaders that you admire most?
Usually it always comes down to your vision,
Mm.
you know, because leaders, the main role is the vision. They give the vision to the entire organization. Managers, they're there to, you know, to manage things, to supervise, to do all those kind of. But as a leader, you should be able to communicate your vision to your people. This is where we want to go. This is how we can get there.
Yeah. You've
Because
already
you can't do.
go on, go on. Sorry. Go on.
Because as a leader, you can't do everything by yourself. We need to be able to delegate. Hey, Junior does this. This person does this. go as a leader, go out and find resources which can help you bring that vision to life.
Yeah. No, that's
You know,
powerful.
so
So yeah. So what is then your vision for your foundation?
like I touched a little bit
You
in
did.
when I was talking, but yeah, it's I want it to be the beacon of the community, to be the best place for the kids where they can come to feel safe. I know that is a very hard thing, you know, safety is very hard to come by, but that is one thing. I want kids to feel free to come out and be in an environment that fosters learning, that fosters, you know, education, that fosters sharing knowledge, you know, to know who you are, in empowering, you know, kids with the knowledge and the resources they need to be successful, you know, to, you know, building our culture, you know, serving the community. You know, we want that place to be like that, to be the beacon of like when someone is looking it up, it's like, hey, this is what they stand for,
Yeah.
and this is where we can go and get this and this and this. So it's going to be welcome to each and every person, so long as you're willing to learn and share your knowledge and serve the community and serve the people around you. So we want it to be that beacon in the community.
Yeah. No, I love that. So one thing that is fascinating to me and is something that I think about quite a lot, especially in my work in marketing and working with nonprofit and working within philanthropy, is that for all the goodwill and the good intention that almost every one of these organizations have, there is also this level of savior complex that sometimes bleeds into the work, which can be troubling. And when you talk specifically about Africa and working with kids in Africa, there is this played out trope of the starving kids in Africa that I think sometimes miss the opportunity to share more about the kid. So with your work with these kids that you get to see and talk to and listen to, and they share with you their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, what is often missed about those stories that inspire you so much and keeps you going?
Non-profit organizations that I've seen, you know, they like to pick out the negative things, because that's how, when, you know, or be like, oh, if I show this picture when a kid is sad, the kid is naked, doesn't have anything to eat, you'll be like, oh, someone who feels like, oh, let's give some money to help. But that's not how it is. Africa is such a beautiful continent. It's such a we have everything, you know. But when people look out for the negatives only, it doesn't give out an entire picture of the country, or the continent. You know, we have everything that we need to be successful. Don't look out for only the negative things. This we can Africa, you can drop something on the ground and it grows back. You can't find that anywhere. We have lakes, we have rivers, we have mountains. We have all that we need to be able to make the best thing in the world. You know, so to me, that's what I think I see with some organization. Not all of them, but there's so much that you can show the world that is beautiful about Africa. And that's what people are missing. They only look on the negative things, you know. That's not the only way of raising fans. You don't need to show only those negative things. You know, the different ways of raising fans. You find the right people who believe in your cause, and they'll give you money without showing them a picture of a naked kid.
Of
And
that.
those are the kids we need to protect. Why do you show them to the world? You know, there is poverty everywhere in the world, even in the US, even in the UK. There is homelessness everywhere. You know, so to me, that's one thing that I feel like in terms of marketing, people are missing. Sometimes, you know, they only want to focus on the negative. They never want to show anything good that is happening, to show the impact, to share the good stories that are happening, you know. So to me, it always comes down to, you know, to the authentic why you're doing something, why are you doing it? You know, are you doing it for the right reasons? Are you doing it for the wrong reasons? Are you doing it for your own benefits? Are you trying to benefit the people of Africa? You know, we need to put, you know, our people fast, because it's very important. It's and to me at the end of the day, when it comes to raising funds, it's you just need to find the right people to work with. People won't even ask you like, hey, why are you not showing the naked kids? Why are you not doing this? It's there are people who have the willingness to support you
Yeah,
no matter what. But Africa is beautiful. You can't go wrong with it.
absolutely.
There's everything that we need to enjoy and appreciate. And one day we'll get there.
Yeah. And like for me, when I think about your foundation and I think about the marketing messages that are actually the most powerful, they are the ones that touch on a universal human truth, something that is true across the world. That's why for me, this idea of paying it forward is so powerful, because it's like, one, is a positive idea which doesn't touch on the negative, but two, it's a universal human truth. Even the most, like the richest person on the world can resonate with that idea of paying it forward, right? It's not
Yeah,
just somebody who has been given a warm meal who could be inclined to pay it forward. The billionaires, most of them are actually trying to pay forward, right? Because they know they stand on the shoulders of giants, mentors, people, family, friends, people that believed in them, investors in the early days when it was just still a fickle idea. And they saw
yeah,
something in the idea, in the vision that the leader portrayed, and they wanted to be a part of it. So for me, the way you guys are communicating is the right approach, is the right way. And I also love the stories that you guys share about the kids, stories about their hopes, their dreams, how smart they are, how creative, how resourceful, how adaptable and resilient they are. Again, those are human ideas that are universal. And if you are trying to build a connection with a potential donor or with potential donors, those are the stories that you can also tell. They can see and hear themselves in stories about hope, dream, story about adaptability, resourcefulness, paying it forward, about fighting for your dreams and fighting to become the best version of yourself. So I know your vision is for the Azira Foundation to be a beacon of hope, a beacon in your community, a beacon in Uganda, but I also wanted to tell you thank you for being a beacon for the whole of Africa, and hopefully a beacon for the world. Because again, that idea of paying it forward is a universal idea, and it's an idea that if more people realize that they too were indebted to so many people for the opportunities they have been afforded, then more people will look for ways to pay it forward, and that's how goodwill and positivity just spread, and people now look for ways to pay it forward, because we all can and we all should, because we are afforded so many opportunity. So thank you for showing us the way,
absolutely.
and really highlighting why it's so important.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Because like a player like Sergio Mane and Mo Salah, and like they've done such a great work. They're always giving back. Sergio Mane building schools and hospitals for his people. He had to walk miles and miles to go find a place where he could play soccer. But the things that he has done for people. But it always comes down to remembering who you are. Where you come from. And because sometimes some of our brothers and sisters, we go to different places. God gives you a platform, but you get lost in the world. The universe is a giver. It blesses you. You
Mm.
know, so but usually if you just take fruits from a tree and you don't water it, it won't give you fruits anymore.
Yeah.
It will dry up. So it's very important, to give back to the community and continue to share stories with people. Sharing our stories, I think, is really important because there's so many people like they want to help, but they don't know how, So that is very important as well, because there's so many people with resources like, hey, I like to do this, but they don't know how to get to you, I think that's very important. When you share stories of how they could help and sharing stories with them about the kids and what you do about your work, how they can support you, it's very important that way. And we need to continue to have more people who inspire other people, who aspire to inspire. you
Ah,
know it's very important, because we are blessed with this platform. Mostly I talk about soccer players mostly, or athletes. You have no idea of how many people you can reach. It's crazy. Several people, kids, they want to be like you. And the moment you reach the kids, you reach to their parents, you reach to that bigger community. So that's why I ask my players always to be like, be humble. It's that talent. That talent was given to you for a reason. Don't just waste it. How can you build a legacy out of it? How can you support someone else? Like Maria Teresa says, like, if you can't feed 1,000, just feed one.
yeah.
Just start with one kid. That's all you need. And that kid will always be part of their life. And don't do it just because you want something in return. Do it with that unconditional love, pay it
Mm.
forward. Because people did it for you too. Your mother loved you, your parents loved you, they paid for your school, they they loved you unconditionally. So it's just pass it on, to your family, to your kids, to your neighbors, to your friends. That I think we can be able to build a good community. Because it, like, when I go back to the division of the foundation, I want us to be able to bring coaches back home in Africa so that they can be able to select kids, look at different talents that we have. And also, like, they can come and just teach a skill to kids. They don't have to take kids to colleges or anything like that, but they can come, spend time with the kids, get an opportunity to explore Africa or to explore Uganda, and also get to share, look into, learn from other people's cultures as well. Because I think it's important, to learn from each other and how we can be respectful of each other, each and everyone's culture. And to me, that is something that we want to create, whereby, Junior, can we take a trip to Uganda? And they just come and we just spend time there. We see, show them how we live, the things we're trying to achieve as an organization. And also, because kids, like, they want to go study. If they want to go study abroad, that's fine. If there's an opportunity, that's fine, But if not, still, we're still grateful for everyone who has supported us, who have been there for us to make this dream come true. Like, you can't do this, you can't do life alone. So I'm grateful for all the people who have supported me to get here and where we are heading. So I'm truly, truly thankful.
Yeah. So, how can somebody listening to this who wants to get involved, who wants to pay forward and support the organization, how can they do that?
So they can go to our website, the azirafoundation.com. There's several ways you can help. You can choose to donate monthly, because that's very important. It helps us to do the work that we do, because this kind of work, you need resources. And those resources can be in terms of, can be tangible products, can be in terms of income, can be in terms of just, be like, okay, I want to build a facility for you. I want to build a kitchen. I want to build a restroom. I want to build a dormitory. I want to build, things like that. Or people can just be like, hey, I want to pay for kids' school supplies for a year. I want to pay for meals for kids, or I want to pay for this one kid to go to school. So there's so many ways. You could be like, I want to pay for shipping things that we ship back home, like sanitary items, books, equipment, or anything that you can. So there's several ways that you can help, and you can always reach out on our email, the michaelfoundation18@gmail.com. If you need any information, we'll be grateful to reach out to you in case you need anything. And also, we have a website where you can buy products as well. You can buy aprons, you can buy caps, you can buy T-shirts. That always helps as well, because those resources help us to be able to achieve the goals and objectives of the foundation.
Great. Well, Michael, this, as expected, has been an amazing conversation. I want to take this moment to thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for your contribution to the world, to the motherland. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to pay it forward, because in those kids, I see myself and I see a genuine opportunity for me to pay forward for all the people that have afforded me opportunities. So thank you. Thank you for everything, man.
Thanks you. Thank you. Thanks for having me, and we appreciate all your support. Thanks all that you do for us and all the work that you do for other people as well. It's been a pleasure to work with you. So let's continue to shine light on these things and continue to help other people in need, like other people did it for us. So let's continue to pass it on.
Absolutely. Micheal, thank you again